Chapter 12. The Soul Purpose. Your soul purpose is the gift you came here to share with the human race, no matter how simple or grand it may seem. It also involves the personal relationship lessons you came here to learn this time around. Even when you don't consciously remember your soul purpose, you know it in the fiber of your being. Given that your purpose is so central to the reason you came here at all, losing touch with it creates a marrow-deep feeling of alienation. Its absence can leave you vulnerable to behaving irresponsibly toward others. Unfortunately, many cultures and societies today seem almost rigged to help an individual lose the knowledge of his or her soul purpose. I'm talking about things like poverty, selfish abundance, racism, sexism, classism, and child abuse. Forces like these run rampant in the world today, and it takes a firm commitment to the truer, often harder path of staying open to the real you, to the real reason you incarnated in the first place. But rather than focusing on the importance of a soul purpose, I thought it would be more helpful to offer a practical way or two of learning to recognize that honest path. Often you know you've strayed from your purpose only when you find a deadening, lonely alienation in your life that you can't chalk up to family, business, or social problems. In recognition of how easy it is to get lost from your soul purpose here on earth, Heaven builds all kinds of signposts and a variety of wake-up calls into your life to help you find yourself so you can find love and complete your soul purpose. Some of these markers are not only helpful, they're also easy and even fun. They might come in the form of a scholarship you unexpectedly get, or you might fall in love with someone special. Some of the not-so-fun ones are more like playing the coyote in a Roadrunner cartoon. You survive, but you're temporarily toasted or flattened from the force of the impact. These more difficult signs might include losing your job suddenly and being forced to find a whole new line of work. Or you might one day find your spouse has just dumped you. Sometimes these situations are plain bad luck or crazy human cruelty. But other times they are doors that Heaven has built into your life to help you move in the direction of manifesting your soul purpose. Yeah, but how do you know which is craziness and which is heavenly inspiration? I hear you asking, and that's a very good question. The answer has to do with learning how to sit quietly and breathe consciously in the middle of any crisis. Of course, when you're in the middle of a crisis, the only thing you can be certain of is a lot of trembling and panic. Lots of adrenaline pumping and guts quaking, no doubt about it. But it is possible that even during the first shock of losing a loved one, a job, your financial security, or whatever, you can take some time every day to breathe and to hope. Your breathing on earth is connected to God. A simple fact you don't realize until you no longer have lungs with which to breathe. Every time you inhale and exhale, you are receiving the heartbeat of the loving source into your lungs. This loving radiance pulses into your bloodstream, your vital organs, your muscles, tissues, and bones, and on into your neurophysiological processes. I realize this is a pretty revolutionary concept, but it's honest. If you rest in your breathing at any time in your busy day, you are actually allowing our loving source to give you inspiration, strength, and good practical thoughts about living a healthy life. When it's a legitimate crisis due to someone else's craziness or life's random cruelties, what you'll feel rising up in your gut when you quiet your rage, pain, and fear is a pure, heartfelt cry for help. That's right. A simple, unmistakable, "Help me." Now, if you have what it takes to sit inside that need for help and not panic, you might feel the prayer coming, or maybe a detailed, practical list of what you need to help you survive your crisis might rise to the surface. If you shout these needs long enough at heaven, and you do your best to survive until help arrives, help will come in some form. I guarantee it. The trick is in breathing, staying centered, continuing to ask for help, and moving toward that help no matter what. When the crisis you're faced with is actually heaven nudging you toward a soul purpose, however, you'll receive a different message when you get quiet. Under your fear, rage, and pain, you'll feel a sense of peace, a sense that there's something oddly right about this. Now, there's no question that some of these nudges could come with a hell of a lot less pain and uncertainty. They'd sure be easier to read and recognize if they did, wouldn't they? Not to mention the fact that each of us is frequently guilty of actions that land us in the muck in the first place. But no matter how bad you feel, either because of the pain or any residual guilt, ask yourself, again in that silence, if you don't also feel that there's something kind of okay about this present emptiness. Could it be you actually feel some degree of excitement about the freedom this loss has given you? The trick here is to breathe, to stay centered, and to try to let your soul purpose, that sense of what gives life the most meaning for you, rise to the surface. It may take weeks, and you'll have to keep making decisions in order to survive in the meantime. But even 10 minutes a day of being quiet can make a difference. If you can just sit quietly in church, in temple, or in your car for 10 minutes a day during this trying time, you'll give your soul purpose permission to be more present. That moment with Bruce and Irene is a great example of heavens helping me in this way. My sole purpose was to create a model family life based in living love as a decent, kind behavior. My divorce and business pressures had caused me so much fear and pain, I'd been willing to let my own kid go just to get a little relief. In Bruce's acting out and in Irene's integrity, I was being sent a nudge. You see, Irene and I couldn't be a model for others if we were untrue with each other and our children. So together we began taking the necessary trial and error steps to balance everyone's needs on a daily basis. This was the core of our joint soul purpose, and it was hard, often brutal work. We wouldn't see the rewards of our efforts for quite a few years to come, but a deep knowing that we were doing the right thing reassured us over and over again. Looking back, I don't know how people keep going forward without a strong connection like that. The good news is you don't have to do without it, once you've gotten quiet and clear enough to have that knowing work for you day after day. And the rewards that come once you know you're on the right path are unbelievable. Unfortunately, a lot of painful living can go on before you become clear enough to start working through your pain and getting to the good stuff. Irene is an example of someone who has always tried to honor an inner truth, even when she hasn't been completely sure what she is honoring. Making choices throughout her life that kept her open to love and possibilities enabled her to communicate with my soul after I died. She never let her lifetime of pain and suffering get in her way. It's the key to her strength, and it will be the key to her living a full, successful life without me. I know I've said it before, but I've just got to say it again. What a woman!